What is up, everybody? That's here, and today I'm back playing some more Pokemon VGC Patreon Reg I team fixing. Today we're going to be taking a look at a Choice Specs Terapagos team with loaded dice Rayquaza, Grim and Sin, Amoonguss, and Pow. This is actually a very, very aggressive team that was submitted on Patreon. If you guys want help with your teams, think about checking out the Patreon for the low price of $2. I will fix your team. I will make a video on any team that was submitted with a rental code, and if you just have a Pokepaste, I'll just fix it and give it right back. We're trying to get all of these teams done before we go to NAIC. And the Patreon is a really, really cool resource. Link to it in the description. Think about checking it out. It's where all my rentals go as well. If you guys like the team we feature on YouTube, maybe think about checking out the Patreon. That being said, this is Morgan's team. They say this is their Specs Terapagos loaded dice Rayquaza team they love some feedback on. It's done well enough on ladder, which is their only purpose for it. I love that they're so specific about that. But I'd love to see if there are any other variations of the team. I never really bring Grim or Pow. Maybe some changes there would be useful. They also go over how they like to lead with the team. They talk about Amoonguss and Pagos with Rayquaza and Sin in the back. And they talk about how, like, good of a lead that is, like, catching people off guard. People don't know if you're going to go, like, you know, Calm Mind Pagos since this is close sheet. They don't know if you're going to be, like, redirecting Spores. In reality, you kind of just want to pop that Tera, blow things up, redirect until Amoonguss is gone, and then bring out Sin or Ray to close. I think it's a very, very good team. I actually really like hyper-aggressive specs. Pagos is one of my favorite ways. It's probably my favorite way to play Terapagos, so I think I'm going to do a pretty good job fixing this team. If we want to take a look at some of the EVs on this one, that's going to be... Where is it? Let's get their EVs up here. I should probably grab this Pokepaste and go over what their EVs are, right? Holy moly. This is your reminder to think about dropping a subscribe on the YouTube channel because I was not ready to, you know, drop this paste here. Here we go. Let's take a look at some of these EVs here. Holy moly, technical difficulties. I think this is a cool Pagos spread. I think you could optimize it just a little bit, just getting away from the 252. The Rayquaza can definitely be optimized just a little bit. You're wasting a couple points in your HP there that we can move around. Amoonguss it's a good set, but it's a little bit dated. I think you should probably be facilitating a little bit more defense on like a Rocky Helmet set. The Insane is really cool for the vested set. I think you need a little bit of speed and actually just a little bit of attack to be able to make use of the fact we're using big damaging moves like the Flare Blitz and the knockoff. If you actually want to get those KOs and you're going to commit to using the Timid Nature, which is a 10% boost to this stat, you should probably put just a little bit of points in attack to make sure you can KO things like Rilla. Shenpao's good. It's going to need a Nature. I'm assuming this one's Jolly in game. And then the Grim Styles, it's a decent set. I really think Sucker Punch is good, but I don't think we're really like afraid of like Shadow Rat or anything worth Sucker Punching, so I don't think we really need that. And then like not having Thunder Wave makes this mon just like a lot harder to use, so I agree exactly like what you were talking about. I think the Grim is the mon that's probably going to get cut from this team. So that's a little review of this team, but yeah, what we're going to do right now is just play a few games, get a good understanding of how the team is supposed to be played, and then we're going to go into a team fixing session, and then we're going to use the fixed team in game. So if that sounds like fun to you, sit back, max, relax, act all cool, and wish me luck. Here we go. Alright, here we go. Going up against Lunala Koraidon. That should be a pretty good matchup for Terapagos, I think. Even Ray is probably pretty good here. I think we could probably lead with both those. I know in the team they said they usually like to lead Amoonguss Terapagos. I don't necessarily like that as much because it's really weak to like Chi-Yu in this board state. So that being said, I'm probably going to end up bringing Terapagos Ray. And one of the reasons why we're actually allowed to lead Ray here is they don't have an Intimidator, right? I can just lead Ray and like be a bully. If they want to lead Flutter Mane, we pivot probably into the Amoonguss for like a turn 2 play. And then try and close out Insane into the back. I'm not a big Insane believer, but I think Insane is a great pivot into like Lunala, into Brute Bonnet, things like that. I think we have a pretty cool team here. We should be able to get some wins. And yeah, the Ray should do a really good job of keeping some of these mons in line. Steel Terra Ray is also really, really cool. So I like this team a lot. I think this team, all we really need to do with it is clean up some of the EVs, right? I think we need to clean up some of the EVs here. These EVs can be optimized, honestly. This is an okay spread. Can we optimize it? Can definitely make this a little bit better. 2v2 is fine. We got to add a Nature. And then the Grim, I think we're probably going to cut the Grim. And it can also be optimized if we wanted to keep it. But that being said, we see Flutter and Brute Bonnet up against double restricted. So you see how, like, I think we're in, like, a really, really good spot here. We can honestly just... we could flip on the Steel Terra Ray and just dump that Flutter, bro. That being said, I think they're probably going to be respectful of Terapagos here. Do I need to rip my Tera turn 1? I don't think that I do. I think I can just Tera Starstorm here, pivot in our Amoonguss, and just kind of maximize our Tera Shell. If we get put to sleep, like, that's fine. I'm not really afraid of getting put to sleep because I can just go, like, Pollen Puff every single turn. Amoonguss isn't really afraid of Flutter Mane or Brute Bonnet, and if anything, the fact that we have Pollen Puffs really couldn't do it. I can't believe the Terastal's turn 1 in front of a Terapagos. Holy moly, this guy's nuts. Fine with me, though. Dang, I could have just popped that thing. He really thought I was going to Dragon's Ascent him. I think he thinks I'm sashed on the Ray, and we're not. Got that big loaded dice D's. Icy Wind. Cool, that works. Terra Shell. Oh, no. Yeah, I don't really care if we get Sport. Really not that big of a deal here. And let's see who they're respecting. Let's see if they respect the Ray. That'd be kind of nice if they respect Ray with Spore. That'd be kind of nice. Because, like, I'm an Amoonguss right now. Starstorm D's. Great damage here. Oof. Big damage. Spore Pagos. Good play. Awesome. So I think the play that we want to make in this situation is just side Brute Bonnet. They probably are going to be respectful of Spore. So I think we just side... we don't even have to do anything weird. We can't wake up this turn. We just side Pollen Puff every single turn. That's just the play. What are you going to do? Like, Moonblast my Amoonguss, bro? Like, go nuts. I guess you could Sucker Punch Pollen Puff. But, like, yeah, Moonblasting that guy's good. That's a lot of damage. Special attack drop's very, very unfortunate here. Terapagos, big nap time. Damn, we could have just spored that Flutter Mane. Ugh. Seed Bomb. I don't think it KOs. Yep, does not KO. Almost KOs, but does not. Pollen Puff is good here, so I'm going to pivot into Incin here, get Intimidate, and Spore the Flutter this turn. Yep. And then I'm going to fake out Spore the Bonnet and probably be good. It's not looking too good for our hero with the Amoonguss, or sorry, with the Terapagos here, but I think we're still in a good spot. I think we have a lot of options here. The fact they still have both the restricted being the Lunala and the Koraidon in the back is going to be a little bit hard to deal with in the later part of this game. But, like, we got a cool title on the Incin Royal Master. I don't even know how you get that one. Intimidate's low-key wasted on the Brute Bonnet, but I think it's fine. Shadow Ball the Amoonguss, the other making reads. That's fine. C-Bomb Incin value. Okay, nice. So Spore into the Flutter Mane. It hasn't even started its sleep turns, which is absolutely amazing. And we have an AV Incin right here. So what I really, really like about this is I think we can low-key just U-turn out. You don't ever need to fake out here. There's not like a reason to. We're not pinned enough to do that. And we're just going to Spore the Brute Bonnet, who's no longer a grass type. If it wants to protect a block fake out, that's fine. I'm getting a repin. And if it wants to do something weird, I don't know what you think you're going to do over here. Rage Powder, like that works for me, buddy. I'm just clicking U-turn. And again, you haven't even started your sleep turns. So I really, really like this play for me. They're trying to keep their Sash up on the Flutter. But this is where I really, really like the Terapagos to come back in, right? You come back in with the Terapagos. You maybe wake up, start weaving in those Pollen Puffs, right? Like, I vibe with it. I vibe with it. Are we going to wake up? The world may never know. Cool. Big nap time. Okay, Flutter's been asleep for one turn that it had to be asleep. Brute Bonnet hasn't started its sleep turns. I'm going to Tera Starstorm, but like I don't want to wake up this turn. I want to wake up like next turn. Okay. Bonnet has to be asleep though. Looks like he was trying to either click Sucker Punch or Rage Powder. Flutter Mane, one turn sleep, never lucky. Never lucky. We're the unluckiest player that's ever existed. And we barely live. There's a wake up. Cool. I'm going to get the Brute Bonnet off the board. But yeah, really unlucky here. Super unlucky for your boy. Damn, that's really unfortunate. One turn sleep. I think that they got a 2-turn sleep on us, but yeah, let's see what happens here. At least we got the Bonnet off the board. We do get the Pollen Puff value, but imagine if we were like at full and they had us sleep again. Like, oh my gosh, it would have been just game right there. Alright, let's see what's happening here. We can Terastalize the Amoonguss and, Terastalize the Terapagos here and just rip out a Starstorm. I think that's probably my best play. I wonder if they're going to use Flame Charge this turn, because I'm going to just go Redirection. This should make the Flutter Mane faster than the Koraidon. Do I want to go Terra then? That's a good question. We have Ray. And they've already blown Terra. We have Incin too. Oof, that's a really good mon here. We might just, like, do I just want to fodder Terapagos and pin with, like, Ray? No, I think this is fine. I think you just rip the Starstorm out, and you just Rage Powder. I'm hoping that the Flutter Mane is still faster than the Koraidon, that it's, like, a full-speed Flutter, maybe it's, like, an Adamant Koraidon or a Koraidon that has, like, just enough speed to outspeed, you know, Modest or Adamant base 135s or 136s. So that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that we can still redirect the Flutter first, and that we're not having a speed tie happen where, like, Koraidon just dumps my Amoonguss and then, like, Flutter Mane crits me with a Moonblast or something. That'd be really bad. So Rage Powder's up. Let's go. big mushroom energy. Icy Wind, good play. Cool. So Flutter Mane was still faster. Again, that doesn't really matter. Amoonguss is going to be able to redirect correctly. And Amoonguss is also holding a Rocky Helmet. So even if you do Flame Charge, you can take a lot of damage here. Breaking Swipe. Cool. That's good tech. Honestly, like double AoE, good stuff there. Let's see. What do we want to do in this situation? Because they're going to be able to live on the Flutter. Like, I'm pretty sure they're sashed on that set, honestly. Let's see what happens here. I'm actually happy to see no Flame Charge, honestly. So that's good. So we have Ascent that can come in. It's good damage. So Ascent can come in and just get a fake out pin. Ray can come in and threaten an E-Speed, which we don't have. If I protect here, pivot out that for Ascent, I'll get a fake out. And then it'd be Ray versus Flutter, which I don't particularly like that matchup. If I just bring out Ray here, what does that get me? I think we have to do this. So Ascent's going to come out here. I don't like this play, but it's what we have to do. They know that we want to fake out the Koraidon, so we're not going to take that bait. And then what do we think they have in the back? Lunala, maybe? We actually just make a read here. Protect, nice. It's going to work. So even if we lose our Terapagos here, getting the Flutter Mane off the board is going to allow Ray to actually work to some extent. Moonblast is completely fine. We live there too, gaming. Special attack drop doesn't matter. We have what we need to succeed in this situation. The Flutter Mane was the problem, and now we got it off the board. They've gotten so many special attack drops off against us. I wonder if the last mon is the Lunala, right? That being said, if that Koraidon is like orbed, we definitely just win. If we play our cards right. Hope that's not like a power herb Lunala. That'd be pretty obnoxious. Yep. Because I think that is an orbed Koraidon, honestly, though. And if you want to breaking swipe me, that would suck. But I think you're just going to close combat. So like, I'm going to rip the Starstorm. Nothing else I can do. I'm spexed. Pivot in the Ray. Yeah, if you go for like a breaking swipe, you're gamer. But I think you're just close combating or collision coursing. Let's see it. Let's see Rayquaza. Breaking swipe reads? Breaking swipe reads? Breaking swipe reads. Good play. Look at that damage. Oof, that's too big. That's too big. There's too much damage. That's so much damage. Why did they breaking swipe there? Huh. Weird. And they're Life Orb, sorry. So they're gonna take out, like, I could have just soaked that on my Ascent, but let's see if they have Meteor Beam. If they have Meteor Beam, I just win. Because that's their only way, that was the only way to break the Ascent. Cool. So even if you hit this, like, I still think Ascent wins. We have AV Ascent versus Lunala. Tera's down. You could miss too. Nah, never lucky. That's wishful thinking, right? So our knockoff's not gonna do any damage, but like, I think they're gonna start charging up a second Meteor Beam, aren't they? Uh-oh. Knockoff won't KO at all. Because they don't have any item anymore. Hey, they just gotta miss Meteor Beam, right? This is still the most damage. Let's see it. Maybe they like just don't do that. I think the right play is charge Meteor Beam. That's not the right play. Or AV. Nah, you should charge another Meteor Beam, bro. Too late now. Yeah, and that should KO. Now that the Shadow Shield's broken. Dude, they should have charged a Meteor Beam. They're probably like, dang it. They probably didn't think we were AV, but we definitely are. They should have known by the U-turn that we used earlier that we were definitely AV. So we take those wins. That's probably a pretty hard matchup, all things considered. Is that a crit? Can't tell me he's not gaming out here. We should be able to get this with, unless we get like a super low roll. And that's game. Awesome. Pretty good game. I actually really like this team. I think it's doing a lot of things right. I think the Terapagos needs to get optimized just a little bit. We can move some of these EVs around. Ray was fine. I think Amoonguss was definitely the MVP in that match. We also got really unlucky. We got like one turn slept. We got multiple slept on our side. The fact that like we held that off throughout all the Moonblast special attack drops, it just shows how like solid this team is. And the four that, you know, we brought, the Terapagos, the Rayquaza, the Amoonguss, the Ascent, they were just really, really good. I think on the initial team submission post, they talked about not really being able to use like Power Grim that much. And I definitely agree. Maybe we'll be able to optimize them moving forward. But so far, I think the team is really well made. And I really like this. I don't know how I feel about these double steel Teras here. But let's go to the next game and see if we can keep the win streak alive. Here we go. Bro, is that Hisui Arcanine trying to fight Rayquaza? I hate that. I'm actually going to lead Terapagos and Amoonguss. I really, really like Terapagos and Amoonguss and a Miraidon. You can just go Tera turn 1 and just Spore the Miraidon. I love it. It's one of my favorite leads. I don't think that Rayquaza is that amazing here. There is a Hisui Arcanine on deck. We got to be respectful. I'm going to bring the POW. And I'm not seeing a good line that we have into a lot of their mons. We'll bring the Ascent. I don't like it here. It's bad into Zenta. But we don't have anything else that's like good into Zenta. It's up to Terapagos to win this one. I think we lose. And this is a game that like is going to do a really good example of showing this team's like faults, and that like screens can't help us. We don't have the right mons to help facilitate Ray, but I do see the mon that we need that solves a lot of this team's problems. And we'll talk about what it's going to be at the end of this match. But yeah, I don't think this team has the tools to win this one correctly. Those are very, very high-powered restricteds. We can redirect and Starstorm out, but at the same time, like, we might just get bopped by Wide Guard. Are they gonna Wide Guard me, bro? Bro, are you Wide Guarding out here? This is where also I like to say sometimes I like to actually put Protect on my Terapagos, even on Spexpagos, because you can go turn 1 Tera like Stellar, take away the terrain, protect the Pagos from the double up, and still Spore the Zenta, and then from there you redirect away the Miraidon and just like dumpy, and they can't Wide Guard. So that being said, I'm gonna be bad, and we are going to full send the damage. We're actually pretty high on the ladder, so like I would not be surprised if they're like Terastallizing Miraidon and Wide Guarding, which is the correct play in this situation. Ooh, Terastallize Zenta! Well, you can't do it all. They're trying to stop Spore. Are they trying to stop that like protect play that I was talking about here? And they're gonna eat like the massive damage. This also makes it so they don't get redirected in. So I think we're actually just gonna lose our Amoonguss this turn. Or sorry, lose our Terapagos this turn. Great play from our opponent. Really love to see that Grass Tera. But I think the mon that we need on this team is actually Flutter Mane. I think Flutter Mane would really unlock Terapagos and Rayquaza to be able to function correctly. It would give Rayquaza and Terapagos the speed control and the taunt control needed to like bully other restricteds. We're redirecting the Miraidon, but we're not going to be able to redirect the Zenta here. And I don't think we actually eat this body press. So, oh well. It'd be really cool if we like just had Protect here though, right? Don't you see how like good that would have been to like Tera Protect, Spore the Miraidon, whatever comes in here gets spored, and then from there, they've shown their Tera, we can move things around, you know? Iron Defense. Oh, did they think I was protecting? No, I woke up and chose violence. This is a misplay from them. This is a massive misplay. We take these all the way to the bank, these misplays. I don't think we get the KO, but it would be really cool if we did. We are modest full special attack. Pagos, you did Tera in front of my face. You are almost KO'd. I don't need Insyn. Insyn? Not required. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Like, Insyn is... I think POW is better than Insyn in this part of the matchup. If you want to trickery me, that's fine. I have an Amoonguss. Even if they get terrain, like, Amoonguss is still just good in a Miraidon. You just redirect away Electro Drift every turn. So let's see if they want to Protect. They could just pop this Insyn, bro. Pop it. Dude, I don't need this. I don't need this mon. Peace, Insyn. Body Press? Yup. Goodbye. And I want to see what the Fruit Wrap does. Psychic Noise? Would that stop me from Pollen Puffing? Okay, just Psychic, good play. Yep. Oof, we eat those. Alright, so let's think about what we need to do to win this one. I like POW a lot here. A lot. I think you just Ice Spinner the Miraidon and get to Spore. I really, really vibe with that. Like, I love Ice Spinner here. I think it's very, very good. Hopefully this POW is a nature. I mean, the one that was submitted doesn't. Let's... Oh my gosh, this could be really bad. This could get dicey spicy real quick, I think. Okay. I'm going to check if you have a nature. There's the electric seed. Very standard. If we could break the Miraidon, we win with Terapagos, right? That's the idea. And if we get rid of the terrain, Terapagos is probably fine. So let's see. Do we have a nature? Yes, we are full speed. Yes, they just forgot to add it. Awesome. That's great. Good job. Appreciate you. All right, we got to win a speed tie. Survey says, what are you pivoting into? Hands? And going TR? Ooh, that would suck. Someone dropped a follow. We're not even live right now, bro. That's sick. We take those. I think you spore here. And if I can just pop them right on helping hand. Oh, they're gaming out here. At least they're not triggering me. We take those. Pow. Speed tie. Let's go. Pow. Big busted. Ice spinner D's. Oof. Oko City. Remove the terrain. Spore goes into the Farigiraf. That's so good. Oh, that's just so good. Who uses Ice Spinner Pow anymore? Only good players, right? Only good players that use Ice Spinner Pow. He's like, what? That's so outdated, bro. That's the tech. And when the speed tie, we take those as hands, right? Might not be hands. Like, they should have trick roomed if they had hands. Arcanine. He's Chad gaming out here. That's for real. I think you pivot out Amoonguss here, honestly. This is fine. I don't care. Yeah, battle's canceled. There's nothing they can do to really get back in this game. Cool. So we take those wins. I do think, though, that Flutter Mane would have just solved those problems as well. I think that if we cut the Grimmsnarl for a Flutter Mane, it would really unlock this team's like ability to leverage that Rayquaza and the Terapagos off the rip. They'd have to be a little bit more respectful, and it would keep those Urshifus at bay as well. So all the mons that are like problematic, like Miraidon, Urshifu, Shadow Riders, that you don't really want to deal with Koraidons, Miraidons, you'd be able to lock those up a little bit more with the Flutter Mane, and I think Flutter Mane is a good mon to use after you lose your Amoonguss. So if you lead like Terapagos Amoonguss and you go like Rage Powder, Starstorm, Amoonguss goes down, you come out with Flutter, regain that speed control, pop with Amoonguss, and you just close with like either Ray or Incin. I really, really like that, and it gives us like a really good option here. So what we're going to do here is go into a little bit of a team building guide here. I really, really like this team. I think you did a great job with it. We just need to optimize a few of the EVs, and once we do that, this team's going to really, really shine. So like I just said, what we want to do here is change this probably to a Flutter Mane. All right. Right there. So we're going to go like Booster Flutter Mane. And we're not just going to be full special attack speed. We're going to talk about it in just a little bit. But Booster Flutter Mane is going to be really good here. Pagos is going to be good. I think this is a solid move set. I do want to say, you could, though, drop one of these moves. You could pick one for that Protect play if you want to make that Protect Spore play. It's definitely like a good move even on like Choice Spec sets. So like maybe think about doing that. The Rayquaza here with Protect Dragon Dance, Dragon Descent, Scale Shot. I think that's fine. I don't think you need both Scale Shot and Dragon Dance. It'd be nice to have like E-Speed here, but I like Dragon Dance, so just keep it. I think you're doing stuff right here. Amoonguss's moveset's good. Incin on AV is good. Bug Terror, really like that as well. Pal's good. I like this moveset. It's the same set I use when I use aggressive Pals like this, especially on teams like this one. And then the Flutter Mane. So we're going to go Protect. We're going to go Protect. We're going to go Taunt to stop like any sort of weird speed or any sort of like spores or trick rooms from like Farigirafs. We're going to go Icy Wind, and we're going to go Moonblast. Very, very standard Flutter here. I think in this one, I like to double dip my Fairy Tera, but I think that there's nothing wrong with going normal. I've seen a lot of people go normal. I like the double dip Fairy Tera. It makes sure you can still OHKO things like Miraidon. Some matchups you're not going to use the Terapagos. This is what the Moonblast is for. So let's talk about what we want to do. We want to be as fast as possible, so we're potentially forcing those other Flutter Manes to bend the knee to ours as well. And then from there, what I like to do is go into my damage calculator. Let's plug in a Flutter Mane. So we're going to plug in a Flutter Mane, and we're going to plug in a Miraidon. So we're going to plug in a Miraidon right here, and you can see like base Flutter Mane Moonblast. Let's move this just a little bit so you guys can see more of the screen. Sorry. There we go. So you guys can, there it is. So Moonblast from Flutter Mane does a decent chunk to, a Miraidon over there, right? If we were to go with something like a Fairy Tera double dip, though, you're going to see how much damage we actually need to get the OHKO on a standard sweep from Miraidon. It's not that much. And so one of the cool things about like putting like, this much right here into it, right? That's level 100. There we go. There we go. It's a little bit less. I was like, it's supposed to be less than that. It's like 76, right? Yeah, 52, right? So the cool thing about this lead is when you lead Miraidon and Terapagos, they see that you can, you know, Moonblast, and they see that you can go Starstorm, and they're like, okay, I'm not going to go Fairy Tera because the Tera Starstorm will kill me. I'm just going to stay in, try and Volt Switch out, and you can actually just flip on the Tera with the Flutter Mane, pop the Miraidon, and then let Terapagos just Starstorm single target into the Miraidon's teammate, and you just gimps their whole engine, right? I really, really like it. So you only need 52 points, and since we only really need the 52 points, what we actually just do here is we go 52 right here, and you just throw the rest of the points in bulk. I don't really think there's a problem with like putting the rest of the points in like this. You can put in a little bit more defense if you want straight defense, but putting your points mostly in HP is going to be good on this mod. It's going to make it a lot bulkier than you might really think that it should be based off the rip. I think it's a very, very good set. One of my favorite ones. Shinpow's good. You got to add your nature though. Don't forget, add those natures. I don't think putting those points in defense either is better. Probably just Spadef there. Incin, I think you had a good Incin set, but what I actually like to do is put a little bit of speed, just a little bit, just to know kind of where my Incin is standing. And then I think if you're going to be playing AV Incin and you're using 2 moves that have like big damage, you should try and put like a little bit more into attack. You're actually going to need about 60 points in attack with nature to get any big KOs with those. So that being said, I think you might get better returns off just going with like a Spadef boosting nature and playing for bump, which is going to look something like that. So 76 off nature there. And then like maybe we can run like a small calc here. So like, let's see, let's plug in a Shenpao. So Shenpao right here. And let's plug in Incin. Set these to level 50. And then like, let's see how much damage Flare-Blitz just does. And you're probably like, that's it. Flare-Blitz, you know, they're sashed, it doesn't matter. So it's like, yeah, so this KOs, but like, let's see what happens if they have the reflect up. So let's put a reflect up. I gotta find it, reflect right there. And so it'd be nice to KO that POW with burn off the Flare Blitz. So that's gonna look something like that. So it's like 180, we need to get to 158. So it might even be better to just like keep our nature there and get to like 158, which again, hey, it's 60 right there. That's why I said you need about 60 points. I actually kind of like this. This is a good set for us, and we just throw the rest of the points into Spadef. I really, really vibe with that. I think it lets us put a lot more bulk into Spadef. This is Pokemon's main job is to be a Spadef wall. You got your physical wall, you got your Spadef wall. I like this. It lets us actually hit hard. We can Oko things like Rillo. We can Oko POW, force those burns, even through Reflex. I really, really like this set here. Another thing you could do if you wanted to was to give the Incin a little bit more speed, up to like 84, to let you, actually at like 85, to be able to outspeed opposing, you know, genies if we have like 2 icy winds on them. So like if they go like Steel Terra Lando and you stick 2 icy winds into it, this is going to let you outspeed that Lando. And we still have all those extra points in bulk and Spadef, so I still like that. Great set. Nothing really wrong with it. The Amoonguss. So you got to be speed reduced. I don't really vibe with whatever you're trying to do here. I think you should actually just be speed reduced 0. If you're trying to outspeed certain things or underspeed certain things with Trick Room not being involved, please feel free to like keep your set. But I think this is probably just going to be a little bit better. And then from there, you are playing for bump on Spadef, which is fine, but I actually think you'd be better off just like doing this. 236, extra 20 here. I think you should be maximizing the defense on this guy. That's my opinion, because like you have your special wall, your physical wall, and you kind of just pick which one you want to actually feature. So I really, really like this set a little bit more. I know it looks simple, but it just works. And then for the Ray, we could definitely optimize this. I think you need a little bit more speed on the Ray. I really like to get my Rays to 151 to outspeed things that are speed creeping, like Adamant Urshias. So this is where I like to get my Rays to, and then from there we can cut up into a 4.468. I like that. It's going to be able to cut up those HP EVs to where instead of like putting 1 point in HP, you can cut that up to each respective points, 1 in defense and Spadef as well. So you're actually just getting more points than you normally would. And you still keep the full attack. So it's very, very cool set. Nothing too spectacular to write home about. I think it's fine. You could even think about making this Ghost, but I did like the Steel. I actually thought that was kind of cool. I don't vibe with Steel here, but if you're comfortable with it, that's fine. You honestly know you're only ever going to be Trastlessing Terapagos or like Flutter Mane in this team, in my opinion. And then as for the Terapagos, we can move this around. I actually really, really like full speed Timid. If you're going to be rocking this Pego set, I love it to be Timid because this outspeeds Adamant Ursh by 1, and people never see that coming. Yes, you're sacrificing a little bit of attack, or sorry, special attack, but oh my gosh, being able to just like see their Sash Ursh and be like, you're done, or like a Bandit Ursh and be like, no. That's so big. People never expect you to be this fast. I really, really like the full speed Pagos. And it just outspeeds it by 1 point. It's so nice. I would say, please try it. Like, you don't need the damage from Modest as much as you need that speed. You need to be able to actually stick these moves in the first place. And, you know, this also makes it the 150 that you have right here that you didn't have before. This also makes it so now you outspeed Shadow Rider after an Icy Wind, and you didn't have that before. So you can go like Icy Wind into Starstorm or Dark Pulse and all those different things like that. So it actually really, really like cleans up the team and hopefully makes it a little bit better. What we're going to do right now is just hop into a couple games on Showdown. And this team was submitted, I believe, for, you know, best of one ladder. I think they made a really, really, you know, good team so far. But I think that like we're just going to keep playing it on close sheet ladder and see how it does. Reg I, click that validate button. There we go. Get the right team going on over here. Where is it? You guys are seeing all my other teams I'm using. Dragon Turtle, there it is. Cool. Let's see how this one works. Wish me luck. I think we're going to need it. But that being said, we're kind of high on the ladder. I think we're in like, whoa, this guy's not high on the ladder. We're in like the 1400s where we're playing this guy. So, because we're not in the, we're not in open sheet. We're in close sheet. So yeah, this is fine. Shadow Rider Zenta, not a good matchup, right? We get pinned on this Pagos really hard. I do think though Terapagos Amoonguss is good into the matchup, and then like maybe like closing with Flutter. I really just like the Flutter as like an option here too. You could just lead Flutter if you want. I think I will lead Flutter Pagos, and then probably try and close with something that just bullies these guys out in the back. I'm gonna bring the Ray, and do I need Amoonguss here? I love Amoonguss here. I think Amoonguss is better than Pow here. All right, let's see how this one works. That is very passive. Do you see how like he's like, "Ha, I will redirect your spores." And remember the base lead that you said you submitted the team with is like Amoonguss, Terapagos. We're not playing that game here, and so we're just gonna be able to click that Icy Wind, go big Stellar, rip the Starstorm, easy peasy lemon squeezy. Next turn, what we're gonna do is we're gonna pivot out the Terapagos probably if they ever bring in the Zenta, taunt the Zenta, no wide guard, and just rip. So gotta hit these Icy Winds. Nice, break the sash on the Shadow Rider. Big damage coming our way. Oof, dumpied on that Ogre Pawn. Nasty plot. Nah, that ain't it. That ain't it, bro. Not it. So you're going to bring in Zenta. We're going to... Oh, Rilla. Okay. We're still pivoting out. We don't need to be on the board anymore. Moonblast just pins a Shadow Rider here. Yep. And now Ray's in a pretty decent spot to be able to pin the Rilla. Oh, it's Ursh. Bro, cool. We don't know if it's Scarf, but like Icy Wind plus Dragon's Ascent into Rillaboom will be able to win the game. Great damage. We have that bulk. Remember, we put those points in bulk. Very, very valuable. Oh, that sucks. We missed that. Really sucks. Never lucky, right? Never lucky. Rain Dance. Rain Dance Rapid Strike? What? Hello? Are you good? Why is this guy? What are you doing out here? Hello? 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 And we win with this. Cool. Good stuff. That was weird. That's probably like the wrong move, but let's go on another one. Cool game, though. You can see how the Flutter main drastically changes how we approach those matchups that would normally be bad. Groudon Zenta. So like all these Zentas, they think they're so cool. But we don't need to lead Flutter main into these as much. I think we could probably go back to like the Terapagos Amoonguss here, break the weather and kind of just be fine. Do I need Ray here? I think it'd be foolish to not bring Ray. And at the same time, like what is like the last mon that we need to break this team apart? Probably Flutter in the back. That's fair. Yeah, I vibe with Flutter in the back here. Flutter main can just come in and like solidify great damage on Zenta. Yeah, I vibe with this. Let's see if they're going to go Rilla. Gouging Fire and Grim. Ooh, I like that for me. Yes, please. I don't need to do anything spectacular here. And it's also not booster. Huh. Tera Starstorm, no Tera yet, and just Spore the Amoonguss. If you want to rip something into this, that's fine. If you want to Thunder Wave, that's fine. Like Breaking Swipe, take some chill pills over here, buddy. Yep. Big damage. Love to still hit that. And Spore. And so now we can Spore that slot. We can also just go for a Tera Starstorm here. I'm just going to ignore the Grim for like the next few turns of the game, I think. Yeah, we're going to Tera Starstorm here, and we're going to Spore into the Grim slot. I think we're fine. Light screen's good. It's another one. Dumpied. And now we can probably just start getting the Gouging Fire off the board. Go for a Palm Pup. Hopefully no one-turn sleeps, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, I think we're in a great spot here. Nice. See, we can just play this nice and slow. Tera Shell's back. I'm waiting for the Groudon to come in here. See if they go Grass Tera. If they do, Ray pins it. No Tera. Body press. Nope. That's a Ray. More like that's a wrap. We're gonna Rage Powder in here and probably just... I wish I could get a Scale Shot off into that Grim, but I can't. Wake up. Oh, Thunder Wave, Thunder Wave. Oh, Reflect. Good Reflect, good Reflect. Okay. There's the Groudon. So let's realistically think what we need to do into this guy, because, like, Groudon is a problem. I'm going to Scale Shot into the Groudon and Spore into that. If you protect Groudon, you protect, but I think you're AV based off your set. I do think that you're AV. I think I could also Terastallize my Amoonguss here and probably win the game. Actually, I already Terastallized the Terapagos, my bad. I was forgetting. Actually, no, wait, I didn't Terastallize it. I still have it. It's still just chilling back there. That's fine. So we need the speed boost here. If you wake up and just get a KO, like, that's fine. On Zenta, like, I don't really think that's a problem. Loaded dice busted. There's the wake up. Never lucky. Behemoth Bash. Okay, it's fair. Precipice Blades does not KO Amoonguss. Rips the Spore into that slot. So we can redirect away your Zenta here. You can't click. If I were to go with Tera Starstorm and Rage Powder, you can't Wide Guard and pin me. Nice. And then Flutter Mane just comes out, and we should be able to get a lot of damage here. I know there's a light screen up, but, like, a lot of damage here. Yep. And now, like, I should be able to get away with, like, Tera Starstorm and Icy Wind. I think I like the Icy Wind over the Wide Guard. Wide Guard's fine. Like, I don't really care if they wake up with that Groudon. And now that they showed that, last turn, but they still have a couple turns left of light screen. We're gonna Starstorm. I think the play might be using Moonblast there. Hopefully we don't lose our Flutter this turn. There's Wake Up. Precipice Blades does not. Oh, it does KO. Wow, that's a fat Groudon. That's a banded Groudon. That's probably game. GG's. So we lost this one. Not the end of the world, but it's a hard matchup, right? I think it's hard. So we'll take this L and we'll go into the next one. Banded Groudon. That should not have been able to KO our Flutter Mane. I was planning on living and just double tapping it. So let's go into this one. 1353 Volk player. Zacian Miraidon. Yeah, Terapagos Amoonguss is good here. I have to be respectful of Volk. Volk is going to be a harder mon to deal with than I really like. Good thing is there's no Zenta here, but there is Iron Hands, so I think you do need to bring... I do need to bring Flutter Mane, but they have all the tools of things we don't want to deal with, like Grim, Hands, Volk. I think we needed to get like a... We got a one-turn sleep on their Groudon in the last game, but that being said, like, you know, never lucky sleep turns. That's the name of the game here. So we can go Rage Powder, Starstorm. There's nothing really wrong with that. That stops them from being able to Thunder Wave our Terapagos, but I think they're going to light screen this first turn. So what I'm going to do here is Tera Starstorm, just rip it. Actually, do I want to do that? No, I don't need to do that. We're going to go... I vibe with that. Oh, I should have Tera Stellar. I should have ripped it, bro. I should have ripped it. I had it. I had it ready to go. I knew I had it. All right, that sucks. That's fine. Good play from our opponent. They Bolt Switch out the Miraidon. That's bad for us. Dang, I should have just trusted my gut and went for that, because I knew they were gonna pivot it in, like hard pivot it. Okay. We still have great lines here though. The Volk's at +1, but like, let's see what they do. Someone's getting put to sleep here. Draco. Oof, that's a lot of damage. Struggle Bug. Oof, that's a lot of damage too. Okay. And Miraidon is nap time. That mon is effectively useless for the remainder of the game. It hasn't even started sleep turns. It's at -2. It's going to have to switch out soon. Probably for... Well, we've already seen Grim. They might have Zacian here. Zacian would be... It would be a gamer read here to spore the Miraidon slot again. It would. That would be, like, read the Protect Volk, spore the Miraidon slot again on the switch to Zacian. That would be the absolute gamer read. I don't think we need to make the read yet, though. Oh, DC? DC? We take these wins, by the way. We take these all the way to the bank. Oh, he's back. 5 seconds, though. Survey says, what you doing here? Are you pivoting to Zacian? Protect Volk? No, we take those wins. We take those. We had lines. Something came up. Something was more important. Let's see what happens in this next one, though. Zacian Terapagos Mirror. And they have the Flutter, okay. And they have speed control on the Whims. So that being said, how do I really want to handle this? They have like the Brute Bonnet, they have the hands. I think their team is more optimized to deal with this than ours is. I'm actually going to lead off with Flutter Pow. I really like Flutter Pow here. And then I think if I want to use Pagos, I want to try and close with it. So that being said, it's looking like something... I don't know if Ray is good here at all. I don't think it is. I think Amoonguss and Pagos in the back are the play here. Because I feel like they're going to lead Flutter, and we're just going to try and, like, shove all the right things in. If you want to go with Whims and go with, like, Tailwinds and set all those things, you're going to be effectively leaving your teammate high and dry. I don't know if you have Sash on that Whims. Whims caught. There it is. Awesome. So the cool thing about this lead is, like, I can, like, protect here. Icicle or Ice Spinner over there. If you wanted to Behemoth Blade here, I'm effectively getting good turns out of that. So we're going to protect here, Ice Spinner there. Hopefully it's not Sash Whims. Tailwind's good. Block, yep. Please no Sash. Nice. That Mon is just really obnoxious, so like I'm happy that it's gone. We don't even need to wait out the Tailwind. You had speed control anyways. So you have like a massive amount of damage right here if you have Specs Pagos. But like we have good options too. Like this Mon's always gonna get value. I think the right play is actually double protect, waste their time, and go in for just a free Sacred Sword into the Pagos. Yep. Double protect. It's the right play, so that's why I used it. Great double targeting there. Really, really smart. I could have protected there. Ugh. Never lucky. Okay, so we have a Amoonguss here. So we are going to think about how we need to do this. Which is the taunt? Which is the correct taunt target? Or the spore target? I'm gonna hit Pagos. Yep, we're gonna lose the Flutter this turn. Single target Starstorm from I'm assuming Specs Pagos. Almost gets the KO. And this is their last turn of Tailwind. And this is how we win. You can hit my Pagos if you want, but I think you're hitting the Amoonguss. Yep. Big damage. Do it again. This time with the redirection, and then if Pagos can 1v1 their last Mon, we win. So their last Mon is something like a Flutter or Bonnet, maybe. If it's hands, we just lose. Yeah, I think we can win. We have good shots. Oof. Yeah. No crits. I think we live the crit anyways. Oh, so good. Oh, we played that so well. We got the crit at the end, so we didn't even need it. Cool. That was a great close out there. They had a really good aggressive lead with like a Tailwind Mon, and I think we just showed a really good way of like dealing with it. You get the Whims off the board, you allow them to leverage the advantage that they have. You bring in the Amoonguss, you sleep the right target, use the right protects. They even made a good play like targeting the POW on that turn. I really thought they were going to go after the Fluttermane because its protect was on cooldown. They didn't take the bait, and yeah, I think we played pretty well to close that one out. We brought the exact right Mons. They brought the exact wrong Mon in their Flutter in the back. They prepared too well for the Terapagos Mirror, and I prepared for the Zacian matchup. I brought the redirection. I brought the Rocky Helmet Mon. You know, we brought everything that we needed. So like, hopefully this shows like some of the value that POW brings to the table. You saw us like dump truck that Miraidon. You saw POW's good in this matchup, and you know, you don't always need Ray. If anything, I'd be looking at this team if I were you, kind of like, yes, Terapagos is your restricted, and I'd almost be looking at like POW as your second restricted, with Ray something that you can like weave in as like a bulky flying type to be able to block those fighting type moves into things like POW and Terapagos. That's how I'd be approaching this team. And then like also just like pseudo removing weather so you can like actually start sweeping with your Terapagos if you get speed control up from your other Mons. So that's how I would be looking at the team. Hopefully you guys like these changes. Hopefully the person that submitted this team likes these changes. I'm going to be giving them back to Morgan in just a minute. But yeah, I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys want some help with teams, we have a whole bunch of time before we actually go to NAIC. I'm trying to get every single one of these teams done. If you guys have a rental, I'll be able to make a vid on it. If you have just a Pokepaste, I'll be able to fix that and give it right back. I'd love to be able to help you guys with your teams. And again, all this is available for the low price of $2 up on Patreon. So think about checking out the Patreon. And also just think about dropping like, you know, a sub on the channel. If you like the content, you want to see more, it's completely free to drop a sub. So we'd love to have you along for the ride to 50K. And yeah, I just want to say again, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. And other than that, peace out. I'll see you guys next time.